if Liquid can get them some good pulls off, it might be a bit hard for the Lich to connect the waves, and that might give them a good lane. Their goal should be to probably go 50-50 in this lane. I think the Lich Lark should have the upper hand there.
We are going to see both teams hanging around that mid lane as per usual. Flags being placed by OG around the banner rune spots. No fights to break out, it seems. So bottom side, maybe we do see something to break out. Not quite. In fact, they are trying a little bit. Decay's around top side. Tiger, he could be in a bit of danger, but the slows aren't going to be too much at level 1. Matumba, he does have the frost arrows, but or maybe it will be. They land another. Tiger, still running. Looks like he's going to be just fine, but quite a bit of harassment being dealt already.
Just shoves him away. They're kind of ready for that lane. You can see Insania again. 6-man goes ready, blocks the large camp here up top. So he's going to be able to set up to kind of enable that lane, stop them from trying to equalize here on OG's end at least.
Yeah, pretty nice start for OG. 3 bounty runs. It actually helps a lot in these lanes. Having a little bit extra gold, a little bit more regen, it can snowball quite a bit.
Let's talk about the mid lane to get started. I mean, you've got Mickey. He's going to be against BZM on the Leshrac. Now, I think you mentioned in the draft, Mickey should have somewhat an advantage against the Lesh just based off how much range you have to harass away from. Is there a way BZM can kind of even out or win this lane against Mickey?
Winning it is going to be very hard, but I think it's a very high skill matchup where if the Lesh does a really good job, he will go close to even. Overall though, Mickey is an expert on Lina, so he's probably going to take advantage of this lane without a hit.
What is Tiger doing right now? He's pulling the creep wave. Insania's pulling it too into the mid lane. All right, Celery, go on, analyze this. What's going on?
Yeah, this is a classic. This
What is happening?
Double waves mid?
The SD really doesn't want to fight this Undying, so he's going for these wave pulls, and now, yeah.
Here we go. I mean, I've seen musical lanes before. This is a little bit different. A few more plays than I'm used to seeing rotating between these lanes, and yeah, all about the mid matchups of both mid laners. They get 2 creep waves instead of 1, and this is literally the mid player dream right here. Just the supports dragging more creeps over.
Don't think I've ever seen this.
Don't get any ideas, by the way, for your pubs. This is not what you should be doing.
Ty?
Trying to run, Misha. Gonna be there, Boxy, trying to get aggressive, but the Frostblast's gonna force him away.
I think the one thing with that movement from mid, right, you leave that solo lane for the Drow, so you end up having a pretty good time for Matu. He's not going to be harassed out by the CK solo. Maybe you get less creeps with the creep wave completely gone, but you've got a little bit more breathing room. You don't have to worry about that disruption set up into stun if they do want to run forward.
I think overall, OG is very happy with what happened with these wave pulls. Undying is one of the best laners. Against strength rolls, he will take the damage from the core, he will deny every creep. And when Undying is running away, this is a win for SD. SD is not a lane dominator, he will skill way better.
Bottom, that's a lot of damage being dealt, Zai. He'll get the swashbuckle away and actually finds first blood. Misha the one to drop. Thought Zai was almost guaranteed dead, but Zai able to turn around and at least secure first blood for himself. Matumba, bit of a chase up top. Maybe just fine though, Amar unable to connect.
And you're seeing what Celery said, right? Insania's always dragged away. He's barely spent any time up top. So even though you're leaving that free lane for the Drow, the CK is also feeling pretty all right. He's not being harassed out. He's not losing strength. And he is getting leveled. So Amar's just able to kind of soak away. He's not finding as much CS, but he's kind of keeping up with the Drow. So they're just trading evenly in farm. And solo EXP for the Centaur, it just feels a lot better.
Yeah, OG should be very happy with that. What happened on bot is very nice for Liquid, getting a kill, getting a first blood for them in a lane that should be quite rough. And we can see the Lina is having a really, really good time on mid this game. He's taking full advantage of all the extra creeps they got on mid as well.
Top lane, ATF, gonna make a jump in. Hoop Stomp is there with disruption setup. Matumba, he'll go for the cast, but Tiger, he's got so many stacks over, he will be able to pick up the Drow. So they are really abusing the combination as bottom lane, Boxy, he's gonna be just fine to walk his way out. Liquid still doing just fine down at this bottom lane, but top lane seems to be a bit of a struggle now.
It's when they can commit, right? It's that classic Centaur Shadow Demon combo. Disruption into stun. The Undying at level 2 doesn't really have much to save you. Level 1 Solar Rip can be nice depending on how the creep wave stands, but you can't threaten them away.
Another kill for the Pango.
Bottom, they are going once again. Zai in danger. He's going to be able to walk away. They did pick up Misha down at that bot lane. It's Yuragi now, the one to be on the run. Though Zai moving back in with the toss back out from Boxy. Yuragi, he's the one in danger. Zai still going. They missed the rebound. Yuragi is trying to fight back, but is not going to be able to get it done. At least Zai does die by mid lane. This is a much bigger target. Mike, top of the CS board right now. Top of the net worth, trying to fight back, but he might be the one to drop, and does. Tiger with a fantastic rotation on the Shadow Demon.
Yeah, they're all over the map. That's such a big kill for OG. You were almost twice as much on Mika in terms of CS over BZM. So they needed to equalize there. They get the rotation out. It does come at the cost maybe of just throwing bot a little bit, but you do want that Lesh to go off to a great start. You mentioned it last time we were watching the last game there, Celery. If a Lesh doesn't go off to a good start, it does feel like it gets thrown off. You do need some farm.
Yeah, that was super nice for the Lesh. He's back now on net worth. It's very close. And this bot lane has been very interesting. I thought this would be a very it's just even, and it's going to be good for them.
It seems quite detrimental.
Yeah, the big thing in this game, I feel, is what happened with these wave pulls early. If you look at Undying's net worth, he tanked a lot. This hero spends all his gold on net worth for the lane, or all his net worth on the lane. Farm that much.
Yeah, that's the concern. Like you mentioned, that lane domination. Insanias hasn't really had a lane to hold on to. Still trying to trade with Taiga up top, and we're seeing a little bit of a back and forth movement here with Misha and with Boxy kind of checking in on mid. But it's a very even game start so far, despite the back and forth, despite the lane shenanigans. You know, 3-3, 1K lead coming out here. You do have Mickey on top of everyone else by a huge margin. Like, is that Lina timing? Is this lead by Mika despite the death? Is that what they have to build around here for OGS, for Liquid as they go on?
It's going to be interesting to see what moves they'll make around it. With
top lane, Insania. He was disrupted up. Looks like Tiger just wants to try and retreat, but Insania still chasing it now. Boxy with the rotation. Tiger, well, he's still alive. Very fire out, trying to make it towards Roshan, but Boxy does secure. So now they're going for more. BZM going to try and trade, but unable to lock him down. Insania run as well, bit slower. Will drop the tombstone on the high ground just to make sure they can't keep the chase going. It may affect quite a bit of gold back the way of OG, as they still gaze up Insania, but they will not land the split earth. He's going to be just fine.
Yeah, that gives info on that Obso. So instant D-word coming out here from Boxy, and that should help them maintain some control in that top jungle. A lot of back and forth movement, early rotation out, and they tried to go for a bait play, but BZM doesn't quite find anything. At least he can just go back in the jungle and farm, and he is given room to do so.
Yeah, the main playmaker Liquid has is going to be this Pango. I think the Lina will need some more time. He's going to have his Falcon Blade complete, but you don't want to look to make some big moves with this hero. Potentially what Liquid can do is collapse with a lot of heroes on the mid lane and utilize their Lina in that same way.
Bottom lane, Zai still having a very good time against Yuragi. Again, this is the thing we weren't really expecting here against the Slark, but look at Zai! He's completely destroying this bottom lane, and you just almost can't believe it against the Slark, but Zai's making it look easy right now.
Yeah, they've just made so many moves across the map that they've had to leave Yuragi alone. They need to drag Misha around. He's trying to armor up mid to slow down the shove from Mika, and it is slowing down that right click, but it comes at a pretty big cost.
Mid lane now, they even find the Lich. It's not the biggest kill in the world, but they want something as Misha is going to get Laguna. A very nice pickup from Mike, and it allows them to keep going for that mid-tier 1 tower, as Mike would love to keep harassing. In fact, they want the fight. Tiger forced to run. The Stampede will allow it, but in comes Zai from the side. He still wants Tiger, and he's gonna find him.
Down bot.
Down bot as well. Matumba Man has rotated Yuragi, just getting swarmed right now by the side of Liquid, completely drowning his Yuragi as he does go down at the bot lane. Meanwhile, mid, they're still going. They found the Leshrac. BZM gonna try to run, but it's not enough. Liquid, they're flooding the side of OG.
I mean, they're all over the map, and Matu, he heads bot. The Stampede was up. Yuragi feels like he can go for that kill. 2 split up fights. Liquid found it all.
That was an incredible sequence. They collapsed the mid super well. The Drow realized top was not that safe anymore. Here comes bot. They even get the bonus kill on the Slark. This was just super good for Liquid. The Drow is not putting himself at risk. He's playing at a safe spot. Center has a good time, but they utilized the timing they had really well.
What do you do now? Like OG 3-9, very slight net worth lead the way of Liquid. Do you feel like they're still okay in this game? Do they need to slow the pace down a little bit?
State of the game is looking pretty good for Liquid, I think. The Slark and the Drow will both need to catch up. Just keep farming for now. But their Lina is very high on top. Their Pango is having a really, really good game. And this Pango is going for what looks like a Vlad, potentially a Wraith back. They will have a really big timing once he gets this. I don't think they're in a rush to take this mid tower. They can make a move with Pango ult at some point, but for now they should be happy slowing the game down a bit.
Bot lane, gazes out, but rebound is there. Boxy, he's got the unleash now onto the ledge. They'll find Misha straight away as Yuragi. He just can't catch a break. They'll toss him back with the dispos. Yuragi, he's gonna keep trying to run, but Zaya's right behind him. Still landing the swashbuckle with the multi-shot. It won't connect. It just may not matter. Boxy, right on target with a double kill here for Liquid. OG losing more bodies as time just goes on.
Yeah, and that was OG clumping up first. They were the ones looking for that opportunity with 3 heroes lined up, 2 supports backing Yuragi this time around, and they still get punished. Liquid, they just respond so quick. They hit these timings. They have these leveled spikes that just feel massive, and they have so much AoE that even with a Shadow Dance, you're not really safe here for Yuragi.
Yeah, that was brilliant fight by Liquid. For OG, they should probably look to try to involve their centaur in the game. He's their most farmed hero. This is what can feel a little bit awkward about this hero at times. Is right now he is super strong. Like Liquid don't want to fight him, but they're not. They're just fighting on the other side, and for centaur it's a bit harder to connect. This Pango TP's in. He has very easy spells to connect with in the fight, and they're abusing that fully right now.
Yeah, at what point do you feel like Amar is gonna take that initiative to join in? He's saving up for the blink. He's only about 700 gold away. Is that the call? Just wait for that initiation and start going?
Yeah, I think he's doing the right thing. He just needs this blink. Before that, you don't really want to join. If possible, OG should be a bit careful on the other side of the map till he has this blink, and they can just fight with him once he's ready.
Matamba just having such a good time on this Drow now, able to just really escalate in terms of net worth. Very far ahead of Yuragi, considering 700 gold right now on the Drow. The Drow, one of the slower farmers in the game, you'd have to argue, but to hit that level 6 mark, it does escalate quite a bit, and it's been a very, very good time so far for Matamba as he just continues hanging around that jungle. No real risk of dying here for the Drow, as Boxy's always around to tank any kind of gank coming, allow him to get out, and speaking of that gank, it may just be coming. Misha is going to be there with BZM. They'll smoke up as 2, head down towards the bottom side of the map, see if they can find the side of Liquid, but they've read the movement very well. They are going to back their way up, back into the triangle here, Liquid. Seems like unless you're willing to try and make your way through to that area, OG are going to find nothing with this smoke, and quite frankly, I wouldn't quite recommend going to the triangle of the die right now.
Yeah, I think OG needs to wait a second. Centaur has his blink coming now. They can look to make a move with this. Their Slark is queuing up the Midas, which I think is good. This hero, you talked about Drow not being the quickest farmer. Like, Slark needs to catch up, for sure. He needs to let his team play as 4 while he just catches up with this Midas.
Yeah, does it feel like it gets a bit greedy though? I mean, you talk about Leshrac also needing items, so you're waiting for this full Bloodstone to be up. At least the blink will allow Amar to play, but you've got 2 farming cores there trying to get that build up, while for Liquid it just feels like they don't need as much to kind of get some impact here.
Yeah, Liquid is gonna hit a really, really big timing soon. This Pango has his Vlads complete. Lina almost has the BKB. So if they can collapse with these timings, take over the map, take the Roche, that should be really good for them.
Big smoke up, OG. 4-man smoke through that dire triangle, trying to find a big target, but they won't find one quite yet. In fact, Insania, very good positioning. Ready to break the smoke, but won't find anyone quite yet. Oh, they found Matamba on the Drow. That's the target they wanted. Insania just a second too early, and Matamba's gonna drop. OG able to immediately punish off the blink of ATF, and do you call that unfortunate? Just barely missing out on the Undying.
You can call it unfortunate. It was also a brilliant move by OG. They chilled, they saw the Undying, they just dodged him and got the perfect jump. That was really well done with them. Making great use of their blink.
Yeah, and that gives them space as well to just shove in mid. Mid-tier 1 not standing so healthy here for Liquid. I'm not going to fully commit from the side of OG, but you can always threaten with that Leshrac now. BZM's got enough levels in the Edict that melting through the early objectives is going to be a lot quicker. And for Liquid, they didn't have a massive lead network-wise, so that does even out the game a little bit more. They are going for their smoke play here, though.
Yeah, down towards the bottom side. Who can they find there, though? Might rotate towards the left, but no, they are going all the way down
Yuragi.
bottom. What are they going to run into? Oh, it's Yuragi. That's the exact target you want. Laguna immediately out. Yuragi going to try to run, but Zai on target once again, able to secure the kill. And Yuragi, he has no breathing room.
I think every single kill of Zai has been Yuragi. He's 0-5, Zai has 5 kills. Like, all of it's just been on that Slark, and they've done a fantastic job of just suppressing. I mean, the Midas is still going to have to come out. You're going to need against that BKB on Lina.
The X factor they do have is this SD, who is really, really farmed. Taiga's having a really good game. He's trying to take over his Slark, and he might do so if the Midas being ready while he's dead. Doesn't get a lot worse as a carry when you see this. Oh.
The massive Midas, it's a classic. What can you do? It happens. Mid lane, Liquid, they're going to start moving in, trying to apply a bit of pressure onto that tier 2 tower. It seems like they're aware that OG just aren't ready to force a fight, though I say that. They do TP in, they do prepare with ATF, they've even got the Bloodstone now up on BZM. Maybe this is the spike they've been looking for to try and force another team fight against Liquid. The question is, can they actually find them?
It's a bit rough vision-wise. They don't have that much reach onto the other side of the river here. Lots of sentries out from Liquid just to ensure that they're secure while farming up. So it's going to be a little bit of a dark smoke out. They will go for the play. They saw a little bit of movement up top from Zai clearing out the creep waves. Might find something juicy if they stick around to farm here on Liquid's end.
Towards the north they go. OG will be a massive team fight. Wards are down. They've got the vision. They're going to see Boxy. They'll make the jump in onto the Marcy. Boxy, he's still actually a little bit of a tankier target. They'll purge him up, gaze him, and stun him up here with BZM. It's going to be a nice position for pick-off for the side of OG. Can they find more?
I don't think Liquid minds it too much. OG doesn't have any threat on the Roche right now. Liquid still has a nice ward on them, so they can just wait a second. They didn't lose any of their core heroes, so it shouldn't be too bad.
I mean, they could have easily found Mika if he just hang around in that area nearby, but they pull back in the right time. Still.
Here we go. ATF, blink in. That's a two-man stun out from ATF into the Stampede. This could be a great team fight for OG. They've already got Zai down. Insania dropping, but the Chain Frost not quite bouncing his way, but it won't matter. They'll find a second. OG. Very, very nice initiation from ATF as always.
Yeah, I mean, that forced out Mika's BKB. He forced to just BKB TP away never feels good. You don't lose the biggest heroes at the least, and losing the Pango is pretty big, but you already have some initial items to play with, stalling out the Blink by maybe a half minute there with how close Zai is anyway.
Yeah.
So you still feel all right-ish.
Yeah, these 2 kills are super nice for OG, but the big thing about this is you saw the Slark just deal-warded 2 wards after that. They just took all vision away from Liquid, and OG just wants to buy some time right now, so this is going to help them a lot. Liquid has no vision on map right now. It's going to be quite tricky for them to get out on the map. It's still nighttime for 3 more minutes. I think Liquid should try to group up as 5 very soon, because right now they're getting outplayed on the map.
OG, there's your group up. Liquid, they're going to try and make something happen. A 5-man smoke up. OG, though, they've got a high ground advantage. BZM was spotted by Misha. He's going to break the gank. In goes the stun from ATF, trying to start on Boxy. He's such a tanky target. They're throwing everything but the kitchen sink at ATF, but he's still not dropping. Yuragi, meanwhile, he will back off at BZM. He's moving right back in. He's all by himself, however, and will drop. BZM getting punished for his aggression. As Tiger, he'll be just fine to back out. But they do end up losing that mid-layer Shrek as well as the Pos 5 Lich.
Yeah, that just timed really well for Liquid. They managed to get the roll in with a blink reveal out from Zai right as Amar comes in for the stun. So they're not able to play around that. Immediate Stampede to try to retreat. And maybe a little bit of miscom. BZM's already up on the ramp. He's just trying to go for it by himself. It just kind of gives a bit of a freebie out to Liquid.
Yeah, he could have probably retreated there. But this fight was super nice for Liquid. It was a nice choke point for the Tombstone as well, giving all the vision that they needed. Now they got the Aegis, so that's perfect.
Where do you want to head now with this Aegis up for the side of Liquid? Like, is it just going to be that farming Aegis that we've talked about before? Is it going to be an aggressive kind of Aegis where you want to try and force the fights? What should Liquid be doing right now?
I would like them to group up again soon. I think they have really big timings right now. They got the big items that they need, and this Drow is not a hero that cannot fight. This Drow is very strong right now. I think they need to involve him. He has the Aegis. So he doesn't have to be as afraid of centaur jumping. So I would like them to group up, try to take back the map.
Yeah, I think just going back to how farmed Taiga is, I mean, he's got that blink up along with the Aether Lens. We're trying to rush into the Axe along with the Ghost Scepter. So you do have that reach, you do have that follow through to set up for Amar maybe, and just kind of try to run that Drow down. You don't have anything defensive yet for Matu, although...
Liquid, they don't see the side of OG moving in, but they do eventually find Misha, who does go into the Invis, but it won't matter. BZM, he's a bigger target. The Leshrac once again being slowed up, controlled up, and taken down. Liquid. Perfect fight for them as they find a double once again. More importantly, finding the mid Leshrac, and well, now they're onto the top tier 1 tower.
Yeah, I love how aggressive they're being. They're just grouping up as 5. They're going for a smoke off the back of that. Their position very well known, but Amar's pretty far forward if he's not careful. Might back off. Still, that opens up the map, right? It's forcing OG away from just pushing out waves. It's allowing you to take control and potentially maybe line up for a tier 2 if you find even more.
Yeah. I like the way they're splitting the map. They're just letting the Lina play more as the +1 since he has the travel, so he can always connect. And just move together with your Drow, take the map with the less mobile hero.
Tiger almost getting caught out there, but does manage to blink away just in the nick of time. Still Liquid moving very aggressively across the map, trying to take those farming positions of OG. So OG now have grouped up, maybe trying to think about a fight, but these last couple team fights just have not gone their way. As Liquid, they'll be the ones to back off. They don't have the vision to fight here. Some down eventually, but now Liquid, they will play it safe. It's still anyone's game. Like, you've got a 1k net worth lead for Liquid. It could go the other way very, very quickly. Even with the Aegis up as Liquid, they'll try to make the jump in onto ATF, but a quick blink out is going to make sure he's just fine. And I suppose with the Aegis, maybe you could try to pressure this bottom tier too.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
You heard that shouting. Lesh, 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 Lesh is the call. I suppose that's all you need to say sometimes. Just get the mid Leshrac.
Yeah, I mean, again, the positioning there, not quite where you'd want to be, although...
ATF, big initiation in. He's found the Drow Ranger, but Matumba's been protected by Boxy. Can they get the Drow up? And now there's the multi-shot. ATF dropping low. Boxy still manning up here against Yuragi, but eventually will drops to Matumba. Somehow still alive onto BZM, but he's dropping real low now. The Aegis, it will go down. That's the first line. Mickey, who can he turn on? ATF, he's found the target. That's the one they wanted. Matumba, he'll get the soul rip, but it doesn't seem to be enough. OG able to punish real hard for Liquid as they keep going. Tiger, he's got the purge out. Mickey in big trouble. He's another great target, and OG have found it. In fact, they're not done yet, but ATF, he doesn't land the stun. Zai, he'll be on the run. Insania, he's going to TP under the tree line and will be just fine, but can they get Zai out of there? Napango, he'll get in the tree line, but the gaze is there. Lock him down and take him out. OG, they will punish the side of Liquid even with the Aegis up on Matumba, man.
Oh man, that's the perfect situation. Yeah, you can see right there, Matu just tries to focus in, gets a good Hurricane Pike use, but with a Frost Armor up, he's just scratching BZM. It just doesn't do enough.
Very, very tough here for Liquid, trying their absolute best. But when you catch the Drow out, it's just so hard to try and turn the team fight. And ATF, as usual, just doing a fantastic job with his initiations, always finding the target he knows OG needs to get before they can really force the fight. And with that now, OG, it feels like the ball's back in their court. They control more of the map. Bit of a net worth lead here with 3k. Liquid, again, it's still a very, very close match between these two. It just seems like it's almost like a tennis match. The ball's just going one way and the other over and over again. Dota plus-wise, though, 73% the way of OG. Though I say that, it may change very soon because Yuragi gonna be spotted for a moment, but just with the Drow and the Undying, it doesn't seem like you could really make the jump in.
Yeah, I think the issue right now for Liquid is holding Yuragi down. He managed to farm up the Ags. He's caught up here on the Slark quite nicely above of Matu's Drow now in terms of farm. And just with all the pounces available, we've seen how much of a struggle it is for Liquid to catch these heroes out with the saves. And now the mobility of Yuragi, I don't think you're going to be able to slay this Fishman in time soon. What's the solution to kind of keep him locked in with how far he's come after such a slow start?
Yeah, the downside of OG's draft was the early game and the lack of initiation they had till the centaur blink, but at this point, the Slark might just go out of control. He got his items up. They have super good defensive supports to protect the Lash. It's quite tricky for Liquid to take a good fight now. They need the fight to be slow, play around the Tombstone, let the Pango control them. But it might be happening.
OG, 5-man smoke up, they'll move in. Insania, he does get the Tombstone down just before he gets caught out. Yuragi will happily get to work, but there's Zai with a very nice rolling thunder. BZM, he'll get disrupted. They'll try to save the day for this Leshrac as he does BKB up and run. Somehow Insania in the middle of all this is still alive, keeping the Tombstone up, and BZM, he cannot TP in time. In fact, Yuragi, he was left behind. Boxy will try to chase, but won't be able to keep up. They will let the Slark go, but it's still a great team fight now for Liquid.
Yeah, they work it. The smoke comes out, they get the angle, and you know, OG, they feel confident going in there. They're the ones kind of trying to be aggressive, but if you can't kill off Insania, and even if he dies there, the Tombstone is already down, Liquid were ready to collapse on top. They managed to get a good stun out from Mike, although...
Jump in, that's a big target, Mike. Gonna have the invis though with the Glimmer Cape as they go onto ATF. They'll try for the Centaur. Do they have the damage for this tanky man? ATF still taking through it. Matamba, he's been jumped on. Yuragi trying to do it all by himself. He'll get the Shadow Dance off. Yuragi's not done yet, but might have to back. He doesn't have the defensive play anymore. Liquid, they will do the same. Decent job of kiting out of that fight. It doesn't seem like you're quite at the level yet where you can actually deal with ATF to start off the team fight.
Yeah, Amar has nice itemization as well. He has the Halberd against the Drow and the Lina, which counters these heroes really hard if you get it off first. And the Lina could just not hit there for a very long time.
Yeah, it's holding off that damage, and I think that was the big issue as well in that earlier fight near the Cliff Ward, where you were disarmed on Matu when he had a Aegis life, and you just couldn't hit. Even if, you know, even if he was hitting, he wasn't doing that much damage anyway. And just all the armor coming out now in Amar, like you mentioned, Mike, if you do try to jump Amar with a Frost Shield up, with a Plate Mail on top, with a Vanguard, he does last a long time. It's really disruptive. You have to watch out for him because his constant hoof stomps are just annoying.
I think the longer fights is what Liquid wants to look for. The fight they won earlier where Insania pops his ult and Tombstone, and the fight is a bit slower. They play around the Tomb and the Pango roll. These are the fights that they can win. They are not weak at all. But if the fight is too quick, it's very hard. They cannot burst heroes. There's too much defense on OG. If they could somehow kill these supports first, would be the best. But it's quite tricky for their backliners to get that close.
It's interesting you say that they want a longer fight as well, right? Because you're against Yuragi's Slark, which I would assume with the Essence shifts just being stacked up, I would assume it would kind of go the other way. In fact, hold that thought, because Zai is going to make the jump in onto Misha. They've got the dust ups, the Glimmer Cape not going to do enough. Tiger is there with the disruption though. Meanwhile, towards the north, ATF, they're going to try once again onto the Centaur, but he is going to be able to stampede away towards the south. Who have they gone on? Boxy, he's going to BKB run. Mickey trying to chase. They want a target. They found a couple. They've got Tiger and they've got Misha. Two supports to drop from OG. This is the fight Liquid want now. Problem is all the cores have already left the building.
Yeah, it's the targets you mentioned. You know, they managed to take the supports. They tried to collapse on top from OG. It doesn't feel like Liquid can do too much with this opening, though. But they do manage to take control back of their jungle. And I think, ideally, this is what happens at the start of a fight, right? Just find these two supports and go from there.
That's the dream for sure. This fight is very nice. Now they have control of the jungle. The Roche is alive. And they're looking to capitalize on these supports being dead right now.
Roshan, such a big target to go for here. Would try to get started.
Oh?
Yuragi is going to make a bit of a jump in, but can pounce out. Still, they are going to chase with the gust. It will connect, but they don't have the lockdown. Yuragi going to be okay. He's just trying to slow down this Roshan timing. Problem is, it's so hard to fight against that Tombstone. The Yuragi, he's going to pounce in. It's too early, though. He's still going to try and force the fight with the Shadow Dance, but they're not aiming down Roshan. Or are they? Disruptions there, but Matamba, he's got the Aegis up. Yuragi, still alive somehow, gets the pounce away. He will make it up, but now as Misha will be the target that they go for, and they even found BZM. In fact, ATF, he got left behind as well. It's a decent attempt, but maybe just a little bit too early, and Liquid, they just play around it very well.
It just goes back to that AoE, right? You feel so confident.
A double damage rune at the bot rune spot. It doesn't seem like they spotted out in the end, so it will be left for now. Right after Roshan, of course, as is standard, as is tradition. And if they had that double damage, it'd be a very fast tier 2 tower, but again, they just don't have the vision for it.
Yeah, it can still be a bit risky. There's some counterplay once the respawns are up from OG. And again, just back to that Lich that Celery mentions. Even just frost armor on a tower slows down your push massively. You're not going to be piercing through any armor on that as a Drow. So you just kind of have to throw your bodies forward. And this is stalling out really good for OG. They've managed to get the respawns back up. They can go for a defensive fight if Liquid forces an issue. For now, they'll just kind of keep that farm game up and keep building up here.
Liquid has a long time left on this Aegis, and he'll probably try to use this timing. Mickey is going for a very cool build. He'll go for the Pike now. Bit of a later Pike. He just bought the Dragonlance. But it should be very, very effective against OG's heroes.
Upside, they do find Yuragi. They're also having a look around north for the Shadow Demon, but he is going to be able to TP out. So Boxy unable to close the gap to find position 5 is, well, Boxy and Zai eventually just going to back their way out. I think you mentioned there's plenty of time for the Aegis to expire, so no real rush for them. They'll just take a bit of farm here, farming time for Liquid. 11 to 22 though, 4K advantage the way of Liquid. Still feels like an extremely close game between these two teams. For now, OG definitely on the more defensive side.
It will come down to how these fights go. If it's a bit of a longer fight where Liquid can stall out the defensive spells from the OG supports, it should be very good for them. If OG can get the jump and focus the right targets in a short amount of time, then it all comes down to the initiation right now, who they can jump. But for now, OG should look to just stall out this Aegis, farm up more items. It's still a very good Slark game. The more items he gets, it's gonna be very scary for this Lina and this Drow.
What's the right target for OG to find? And we've seen Amar get some really big jumps. We know Taiga can kind of set up and save as well. But what's the priority when you're OG dealing with Liquid right now? Who has to go first?
ATF. Oh, light strike away lands. Mickey. Perfect start out. Gonna keep moving in, but the halberd was there to slow him down as ATF. How can you get out of this one? Stampede is there. There's no way ATF. He's trying to run, but the shield crash slows him down, and eventually he will drop. Very nice stun from Mickey.
Oh, that's a big one. Just checking the tree line, man, just to find him. And again, without the Centaur and with Stampede popped as well, you've got the window here for Liquid to play without Aegis. You know, push more objectives, maybe just take control of the bot jungle, look for a skirmish if you so feel. OG not going to stay clumped up for that, just work the map as best as they can. And for OG, as you mentioned, it's all about stalling here, Celery. Any big items immediately available for Yuragi that you'd like to see to kind of help him deal with these cores?
Not an expert on the Slark items. He had Basher queued up, but he...
Yuragi, jump in. He found Matumba. Still very confident is Yuragi. With that Shadow Dance, he'll keep going for a little bit more. Take some stacks away, just pounce his way back up. But Liquid, they're moving back in. Tiger immediately bursted down. The high ground defense gets more difficult as Liquid, now in a 4v5 situation in their favor, will continue onto the tier 3 tower. And we keep saying it, but while the tombstone's up, it feels just impossible to try and fight into. Amar, he'll still jump in. They do find the Lina, but Boxy, he's in with a double stun once again. Misha, he'll gate the Chain Frost off, but it's not going to matter. It will bounce around and do nothing as they found Yuragi. BZM, he's going to be able to TP up, but Liquid, they're still onto that tier 3 tower. I'm not sure if OG really want to try and buy back for this.
There's no pressure, right? Like, tier 2 still stand, you lose a lane of Rax, trying to go for the end game here with the respawns, not really within the zone for Liquid, but you have an amazing time on Liquid's end. You still have the Aegis, gonna be expiring soon. You take one set of Rax, you find that punishment. Like, Amar, he tries to find that angle, it just doesn't pay off. For OG here, Celery, you saw that the way that fight unfolded. You mentioned it's all about initiation. Who is the priority for Amar? Because it's feeling a bit tough. Oh.
Mickey again, it seems like that's the priority though. ATF, he can stun all he wants. The problem is he doesn't have the backup as he's getting slowed up here. The Stampede, it's already over. All the stacks of hypothermia from Matumba Man just going on to Amar as he's trying to run with the Glimmer Cape, but they keep slowing him down. This Centaur just cannot walk away as BZM. They're going to try. It might be the last time here for the side of OG to try and give this a crack, but how do they get it done? It doesn't look good. They've got a couple buybacks, but with the racks under siege now, they'll be holding on to one more unless Liquid want to keep going. They could certainly try for those tier 4 towers if they wish, but will they? Uragi, he's going to back
they're
up.
going.
Mickey, he's trying for the tier 4 towers. The Frost Shield is going to slow them down just a little bit, but that's all they can pretty much do here, OG. There's the buyback from ATF. That'll be enough for Liquid, I think. Or will it be? They'll keep going under the tier 4 towers. It's still a 4v5 situation. BZM is not available yet. Matumba, he's the target. He's got the BKB up, though. It's too hard to take the fight. Uragi in that Shadow Dance in big trouble. Misha already down. Uragi controlled up. He is gone. GG is called. Liquid, what a dominant start to this best of 3 series. It was a bit back and forth as the game went on, but it seemed like Liquid, after they got that secondary Aegis, they just took over completely in this game 1.
Yeah, and it was a pretty slow start as well for OG there, right? Like the lanes didn't quite go out the way you expected. Uragi